Hey everybody, we're going to talk about feet today because I've been thinking about feet. When I was a kid, this is what shoes looked like to me. My shoes weren't exactly like that. Mine usually said Mike, just because we couldn't afford Nikes, so we only had the knockoff kind. They even had like some weird kind of swoosh that was a little bit different from that, so it was legal. But that's what my shoes looked like my whole life. But there's a problem with that. We're going to notice it. If that's the shape of a shoe, and that's the shape of a foot, my doctor told me that's what a healthy foot looks like. When you try to put that foot inside that shoe, there's a bit of a problem, right? There's a squeezing. And you know what? My toes always hurt when I put on shoes. I thought that was what shoes were supposed to do. I didn't think otherwise. But my feet got kind of twisted into that shape to something like this. A lot of shoes that we have are like that. They mold us into whatever shape they want us to be, even if that's not shaped like a real foot. And I've had some sort of foot pain off and on most of my life, actually. I didn't know why, but I did. And I went to the doctor recently to say, hey, can you look at my foot? I hurt and I don't know what's wrong. And we looked at it nice and closely, and she's like, it's pretty clear what this is. You're wearing bad shoes, and your bones are being twisted out of shape, especially your big toe. And your big toe is really important. We need to get you some better shoes. We need to teach your toes to spread out, because even when I take my shoes off, they look like this. My big toe kind of covers over some of my other toes. It just bends in naturally now. And we need to teach them to do something different and to spread out a bit. We need to transform this hurting foot into a foot that is shaped right. And when it is, your foot's going to look good. Oh, yeah, it's probably going to look good. It's going to work good. It'll be strong, and it won't hurt anymore. That was a great thing. I got some new shoes now. And they're a little duck-like, they kind of spread out a little bit, but they feel really good. Here's the thing. Your soul is like a foot that's stuck inside a bad shoe. It's the state that we're in. And when God comes to us in Jesus Christ, what he says is, I notice you got a twisted up foot there. Doesn't work. It hurts, right? We're going to fix that. I'm here to heal that. My question is, well, okay, that sounds good. How are we going to do that? And what Jesus says is, come and see. Follow me, and I'll show you how to get your foot right. I'll show you how to get your soul back into the shape that it was designed to be. We're in a sermon series right now that I'm calling Practicing the Way, because the way of Jesus means following Jesus, doing the things that he does, being formed by simply being with him. Have you ever noticed that just being with a great person makes you better? I love being with awesome people. It's one of the reasons I come to church every single week when I can, because this is some awesome people right here, and they change me. So when we practice the way, we spend time with Jesus. We learn from him. We talk with him. We see how he approaches things, how he sees things, how he feels about things. And it changes us. Kind of like when you fix your foot because it's all twisted up. The scripture we're going to be looking at today is Romans 12, verse 2. And Michael read a piece of that earlier today. We're just going to focus on this one little part where it says, do not be conformed to the pattern of this world. Do you see the word form there? We've been twisted out of shape by the world. That's what that means. Don't be conformed to the pattern of this world. Instead, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's going to be our guide today as we take some more steps into understanding the process by which God heals our souls. and turns us in from people who are twisted up and in pain all the time to people who are free, our toes are spread all over the place, and we're free, and we feel good, and we work right. This is going to be a really exciting series. You see, and you'll see the word form is both places there. So, all right, we're going to focus first on the first part. Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world. Now, most people don't know this, but your world wants you to be in a particular shape. It's like a shoe, where somebody's like, I don't care what a foot looks like. This is what a shoe looks like. Feet can adjust. The world wants you in a certain shape. And that's what culture is for. That's what a culture is. It's a system for cultivating a certain type of person. And when you're not that sort of person, your world punishes you very much. And it depends on your culture what shape they want you to be in. Some cultures raised everybody to be a warrior, to be someone who was really good at fighting and who expected to die young. There are cultures that are just built like that. There have been other cultures where what they value is hunting, the ability to go outside and kill something so that your tribe can eat it. There's another culture that I know about that apparently wants me to be a Kardashian. I'm not going to name this culture, but it wants me to be self-centered. It wants me to be anxious and angry and afraid a lot. And it wants me to seek pleasure by buying things, by having sex with anything that moves, and being mean to people on Facebook. Like, those are the things that my culture is, that someone's culture is shaping people to be. Because when people in that culture are like that, the culture works, the world works. They need people who are always dissatisfied and always need to buy stuff and can be easily manipulated by fear and anger. So I was formed in that way. That's the way my soul got shaped. And I've got a lot of that in me. And the first step in practicing the way is noticing the ways that you've been twisted. Noticing that you've already been conformed to something. You're being conformed to something every day of your life, with everything that happens to you, every message you hear, everything that you're taught to believe. And it can twist you into the pattern of this world. So the first step of practicing the way is awareness, really. Becoming aware, A, that I'm being shaped, and 2, being aware that, hey, I don't like that shape. That shape causes all the pain that I feel. I don't want to be that shape anymore. So when we want to become aware, we do kind of what I did. Go to the doctor. Go to somebody who knows what shape I'm supposed to be and says, hey, that's not a good shape. I bet that hurts a lot, doesn't it? We want to start asking the question, how are you being conformed? And the Bible knows that we're complicated creatures, right? We have different parts. We have layers to us, and the different layers work differently. So I'm going to separate out the different layers of us. The first layer, I'm just going to look at my behavior, like the stuff that you do that other people can see and that affects other people. Something that I did, this was sometime in my late 20s, when I was first learning some stuff about spiritual formation, the stuff that I'm going to be teaching you in this series. And I learned of this ancient Christian practice where you would go to God and say, you know, hey, Jesus, you're my teacher. I think you do life really well, and I want to learn from you. Can you look at me? Can you look at the stuff that I do and the stuff that I say and tell me if any of it is out of shape? Because I can't quite tell it. Everything seems fine to me. I'm just acting the way that my culture tells me to. And when I did this practice, you know, Jesus and I are buds. We were just buds. We were just looking at myself, looking at the things that I did. And God brought something to my mind. He said, you know what? John, I love you so much. When you talk to people, and when people talk to you, you don't always pay attention. You don't always, and the reason you don't pay attention is that you don't care what they're saying. I know, right? Okay, to me, this was a small problem. It's going to get much worse as we dig deeper into it. That's how it goes. But that was just a thing that I had going on. It was a thing that I was doing, and I would say most people probably knew it. Like when someone doesn't care what you're saying, you can tell. And I think I hurt some people because I did that. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. Why do I do that? That's when you have to dig deeper. The ways you behave, generally speaking, they come from how you feel. Have you ever noticed when you say hi to someone, you say, how are you feeling today? Because you know, if they feel bad, you're going to have a bad day. You don't go up to someone and say, how are you thinking today? It matters less. Their feelings are going to dictate how they treat you. And your feelings shape the things that you do. So digging deeper into behavior, what you want to do is look at your feelings, your emotions. And when I did, I looked deeper into my emotions and how I'm feeling about that person when I'm not caring what they're saying. And it gets dark. I started noticing, you know what, the main emotion that I feel whenever there's a person is annoyance and resentment. It's like, I resent you because you're talking to me right now. You're distracting me from whatever neat thing I was thinking about. I'm an introvert, can you tell? You're distracting me from the stuff I want to be doing. And you know what? You do it frequently. And I hate when you do that. Okay, so here I am. I'm bitter. And wow, okay. Like I said, we're going to get dark here. When you want to understand your feelings, what you need to look at, you got to dig deeper into your thoughts. This is something that you can see on a brain scan, where if it's an active brain scan where you can see changes happening in the brain, a pattern that is always happening is that your language center lights up. You say something to yourself in words, and it can also be images. And then the very next thing that happens is that your emotions light up. That you say something, you think something, an idea, maybe a little sentence, and then you feel a certain way about it, and your brain pumps chemicals into your body that will make you feel that way. And whenever I saw a person, I saw someone that I didn't want to be near. So how was I being conformed in my thoughts? I dug into that and said, you know what? When people are with me and I'm annoyed, the reason I'm annoyed is that I don't like people. Little sentence. You hear that? Often if I'm having a nice time thinking my own thoughts and someone comes in front of me and starts talking, my first thought that actually does happen in my head, I hate people. You know, I'm not doing great for a love God, love others way. If that's the thing that I say, if that's the way my thoughts have been taught to work, that's not very positive. That's going to result in me acting like I like people while I really don't. And I don't want that. That was an unhappy way to live. But those were my thoughts. We'll get later into why such thoughts happen. But that's what they were. My thoughts like, I hate people. People suck. That's another one. And these are called, in psychology, these are called core beliefs. They're the things that simply you believe. And they're often very different from the things that you say you believe. If you ask me what I believe, I'd be like, you know what? The purpose in my life is to love God and love others. My feelings don't agree, and my thoughts don't agree. So there's some inner work to go on, to work at. And when I do, my outward behavior is going to express that. So I hate people. People suck. To deal with that, you have to start thinking about something that people in our culture don't often think about. It's your spirit. Our culture believes in behavior and thoughts and feelings. We don't talk about your spirit very much. Your spirit is the innermost part of you that makes choices. The Bible will also often call it your heart. In our culture, if we talk about it at all, we call it your will. It's the part of you that decides what you're going to do and also what you're going to believe. So at some point in my life, I learned these little sentences and they became a part of me. And not against my will. I chose to believe those things because they made sense to me. When I looked deeper into that, I noticed, you know what? Those are things that my stepdad used to say, like all the time. Like he had a frustrating life, but he was a wonderful man. But he was negative, you know what I mean? And he would just often say stuff like that. And that was the verbal environment I grew up in, and it just sunk in. And I chose to accept, like, okay, he's been in the world longer than I have. He probably knows what people are, and apparently people suck. And they're not worth caring about all that much. You know, at the same time, he was teaching me to love God and love others, but he struggled with this, and I do in the same way. It's where those things came from, and I chose to accept them, even just as a little kid. That's what your spirit does. So how do we fix this problem? How do we start healing? What we do is we start to realize and notice that God has a project. And the project involves me. The project is God is making a world, and he has created you and me to partner with him and join up with him in doing good things in the world and making the world awesome. That's God's project. That's what all of this is about. And what I want to do, if I want to be the right shape, is that I need to, A, notice that I'm out of shape, and B, realize that God is working on putting me into a good shape. God is my doctor in this situation. He knows what awesome John looks like. He knows that way better than I do. So I sit with God, I say, you know what, how is this going to change? I want to fix this. God and I sat in my spirit together and we're like, we're going to change this. We don't like this. We're going to make this better. We don't know what's going to take, but we're going to do it. So first you want to join God in his project of transforming your spirit. And that's a conversation about what I intend to do. And the first piece of that is always, yeah, I intend to change you to be something quite different than you are right now. And it's going to be great. I have to believe that, and I have to decide that I want to go along with it. That's what your spirit does. You have to intend it. Not just want it, but intend it. To where you can say, I don't want to be this shape anymore because it hurts. It hurts me and it hurts other people. I want to be shaped this other way. That's what it means to get transformed in your spirit. And it's you and God. All of these are you and God together in prayer. And then you move outward. You notice how this starts at the center and moves out. In my spirit, I've started to believe these thoughts. I have these core beliefs. I hate people. People suck. When I go into my thoughts, what I want to do is start pushing back on those thoughts because they're not true. And I want to only believe true things. People are awesome. That didn't come from me. That came from God. I wouldn't have known it otherwise because sometimes it's hard to see, right? But people are precious. They matter so much to God, every one of us, that God gave up his own life to fix it. And it's a deep mystery of our faith. But everybody you hate is precious to God, unbelievably wanted and embraced. That's the truth that I had to start believing. There were a couple pieces to how I had to do that. I started programming my brain to think different things. This was quite mundane. I wanted to start saying words that were true in order to reprogram my brain. That really is how your brain works. It's like a computer. You just put code into it and its behavior changes. So I started a practice of praying true thoughts. And I tried to I tried to remember what the prayer was. It was something I had written down that I wanted to pray every day. And the words were something like this. Oh God, that's how you start a prayer, apparently. Thank you for surrounding me with such wonderful people. This was hard to say. If you want to do this really hardcore, say it out loud. It kind of hurts because your old self and your new self are at war with each other. Thank you for surrounding me with such wonderful people. They are beautiful and precious, every one of them. Thank you for helping me to see them as they truly are, the way you see them. I know that they're just like me. We're all works in progress. We're all in the process of healing, and we hurt one another sometimes. And it's that makes us hurt. But Father, thank you for sticking with us, for continuing to work with us and heal our souls. Thank you for the miracle of healing that you are working in me right now, and for the miracle of healing that you are working in every one of the people that I see throughout my day. God, it is so wonderful to watch your work. Thank you for what this is doing to your children. Thank you for the love that people have shown me today. They have brightened my soul. Thank you for loving me so deeply, and for teaching me to love me, and for teaching me to love all of your children. I know they are precious to you, and they are precious to me too. I love people. Thank you for making that happen in me. Okay, you see how that works? And sometimes that was very hard to say. Sometimes it was just, I was forcing the words to come out because I didn't believe them very much. But the more I did it, the more those words forced their way into my brain. And they started forcing the negative words out because there wasn't room for both of them. That was how I joined God in this project of transforming my thoughts. And this really goes along with transforming your feelings. Have you ever tried to change a feeling? I mean, like, oh, I'm so mad. And you sit there and you try to not be mad. It doesn't work that way. Your feelings aren't under your direct control. It's all indirect. You can influence your feelings only by working on your thoughts. And your thoughts is where you have some actual leverage. You actually have some capability. You notice in the verse how you get transformed. You get transformed, and a lot of it happens in the renewal of your mind, getting you to think things that are true and believe things that are true. I also started paying attention to my behavior, the things I did and the things that I said that impacted other people. And I realized that not paying attention to people wasn't the only thing. I started to realize that those little sentences about how I suck and how I hate people, or how people suck, okay, a little Freudian slip there. You know, I didn't like myself very much either. I don't like people. People suck. I don't want to be around people. I started to realize that I said those things out loud frequently, just like my stepdad did. That whenever somebody would do something that I thought was wrong and that I felt a certain amount of disgust at them because of it, I would actually say out loud, people suck. In my mind, I was just being sarcastic. I didn't really mean that. But those words affect you, and they affected my kids. They heard me saying these things. They were learning to say them themselves, just like I did when I was a kid. I started to notice those things that I would say, and I started to push back on them. Now, for a long time, all that meant was that I would say them, and then I would be like, but you know what? I wasn't doing that before. That's progress. Noticing and being upset that it happened is a start. And eventually, I would be about to say something like that, and I would cut it off before it actually got out. Like, it got like right up to my teeth, but not past that. And that was a victory, right? That didn't happen often, but over time, it started to happen more, right? That I would catch it more often. And also on the other side, I would start paying attention to the way that I treated people who were in front of me, and paying attention to the thoughts that I was thinking while I was with them. Because this all works out from the inside out into how you behave. I started to notice when someone was in front of me, I would have a habit of just thinking about, oh, I hope they stop soon. I mean, all these ways of expressing in my mind that I wish they would go away because I don't care about them. I started to push back on those thoughts right in that moment, that I'd notice I was thinking it, and I would say, no, this person that I think is not important, this person that I think is a waste of my time, God absolutely adores this person and dances whenever he hears their name. That's how God feels about you, by the way, in case you didn't know. It's a good idea to believe it. It changes you from the inside out. So I would start to push back on those little sentences. That would happen. And over time, so this has been, I don't really want to say how long it's been since I was in my late 20s, but we'll say it was 20 years ago. My soul is different now. I mean, it takes time. It's slow. It really is. But you know what? Like, if I ever talk to you here, I'm really happy that I'm talking to you. I'm happy that you're talking to me. Like, I have grown to value the people around me in a way that I never did before. And it feels right. It feels good. Part of why I really like going to church now. I love being with you because you're so precious. And because I know it and I feel it. And I hope I act like it. So, yeah, your soul is like your foot. It's been stuck for a really long time in a shape that doesn't fit it. But a doctor is among us. His name is Dr. Jesus. He knows feet. He knows souls. He knows the shape he made you to be. And he knows how to get you there. And he's going to work it through with you if you want. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I look forward to the rest of this series with you. As we move into our time of Eucharist, I'd like to invite Josh back up, because music is great. In the Eucharist, we have a very vivid picture of what I just talked about. It's a picture of opening yourself up and letting God in. And it's quite visceral that we eat it and we drink it. That in some mysterious way, these symbols, this is God himself. This is Christ given for you. This is the blood, the very life force of God in the wine given to you. And when we open ourselves up, it's a choice of our spirit, where we decide that whoever this God person is, I want that in me. And if you're feeling that right now, this table's for you. If you're a visitor with us, we are not going to block the table from you. I don't even know what your thoughts about God are. But if you want God to be inside of you and to be a part of you, if you want to receive the gift that God has for you in Jesus Christ, come have some. Let's pray. God, thank you for surrounding me with wonderful people. They are precious to you, and I am so grateful to you that you have made them precious to me. My life is rich because of the people in this room. Thank you for teaching me to love. My soul hurt when I didn't. Thank you for setting me free from bad molds, from the twisted out of shapeness that my soul was in, and for growing me up into the person that you are making me to be and are still doing it. God, I ask you, and I expect you to say yes, but I ask you to change all of us, transform all of us, help us to see the ways we are being conformed, and help us instead to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And we know that we can't do this without you, so our very first step is the Eucharist. We need you inside of us. This is not a matter of our willpower. We are not good at changing ourselves, but we know you are good at transforming your children and creating them to be what they were always meant to be. Do that for us today, God. and keep doing it forever and ever and ever. In the name of Christ, we love you, God. Amen. Tables are open.